Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. It is 11:27 a.m. here in Northeast Ohio. 71 beautiful degrees, sun shining, a nice little breeze. It is May 1st, 2013, Wednesday. Nice day out. I'm going to continue with Matthew chapter 14. At that time, Herod the governor heard the reports about Jesus, and he said to his attendants, "This is John the Baptist. He has been raised from the dead, and that is why the powers of performing miracles are at work in him." For Herod had arrested John and bound him and put him in prison to stow him out of the way, on account and for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. For John had said to him, "It is not lawful or right for you to have her." 5. Although he wished to have him put to death, he was afraid of the people, for they regarded John as a prophet. 6. But when Herod's birthday came, the daughter of Herodias danced in the midst before the company, and pleased and fascinated Herod. 7. And so he promised with an oath to give her whatever she might ask. 8. And she, being put forward and prompted by her mother, said, "Give me the head of John the Baptist right here on a platter." 9. And the king was distressed and sorry. Joey, please turn that down. But because of his oaths and his guests, turn it down more, please. He ordered it to be given her. 10. He sent more and had John beheaded in the prison. Joey, turn it down more, please. I am doing a recording. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nine. Sorry. 9. And the king was distressed and sorry, but because of his oath and his guest, he ordered it to be given her. 10. He sent and had John beheaded in the prison, and his head was brought in on a platter and given to the little maid, and she brought it to her mother. And John's disciples came and took up the body and buried it. Then they went and told Jesus. 13. When Jesus heard it, he withdrew from there privately in a boat to a solitary place. But when the crowds heard of it, they followed him by land on foot from the towns. 14. When he went ashore and saw a great throng of people, he had compassion, pity, and deep sympathy for them, and cured their sick. When evening came, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote and barren place, and the day is now over. Send the throngs away into the village to buy food for themselves." 16. Jesus said, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." 17. They said to him, "We have nothing here but 5 loaves and 2 fishes." 18. He said, "Bring them here to me." 19. Then he ordered the crowd to recline on the grass, and he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and blessed and broke the loaves and handed the pieces to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. Just kept handing them out. Just kept breaking the bread and handing it out to them. And they all ate and were satisfied. And they picked up 12 small baskets full of broken pieces left over. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, not including women and children. That was just the men. 5,000 men, not including the women and children. So if there was 5,000 men, there had to have been, wow, um, another good 5,000, 6,000 people, women and children, maybe more. Wow, that's a lot of people. That's like 11, 12, 15,000 people roughly, up to 22. Then he directed the disciples to get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he sent away the crowds. 23. After he had dismissed the multitudes, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. He did that often. Just went off on his own to pray. And if that's what Jesus did, don't you think that's what you should do also? Go into your own special area and just pray. Sorry. When it was evening, he was still there alone. But the boat was by this time out on the sea, many furlongs. A furlong is 1/8 of a mile distance from the land, beaten and tossed by the waves, for the wind was against them. 25. And in the fourth watch, between 3 to 6 a.m. on the night, Jesus came to them walking on the sea. 26. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified and said, "It is a ghost." And they screamed out with fright. I can just imagine. A couple summers ago, we were out on the boat and down on Mosquito Lake fishing. Me, Douglas, and Joey, and Missy. And it was the first time Douglas has been out on the boat when just the two of us, when my brother Norman went with us. And it was the first time he's had to deal with a boat on the rocky waters. And, and those waves started picking up as the clouds started coming. And, the kids are starting to get worried, and Douglas is starting to get worried, and I'm like, it's going to be okay, don't worry, we'll get in there. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm a little more, I'm not as calm as I am now, obviously, but I've been on it before. I was on my mom's boat, I'm the one with the boating experience. So, it was nothing to me really, because I was on bigger waves, unlike Gary's, so. But looking back, it was just so funny how they were so afraid of the waves, with the waves being as big as they are, and I could just imagine seeing Jesus walking out and how frightening that could be. Especially with the rocky, wow. 27. But instantly he spoke to them, saying, "Take courage. I am. I am." Take courage. I am. Stop being afraid. just saying that I am. I feel the power of just saying that I am. I mean, there's just so much power in that, and just to hear, take courage. I am. Stop being afraid. I would have just been like 28, and Peter answered him, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. 29, and he said, come. That would be me. I'd be like, let me come to you. I probably would have been, like Peter on stuff like that, because I would have wanted to. I'm the curious one. I want to know as much as I can. Um, when I see new things, or when something pops out at me, I want to look into it and that. So I'm the curious one, and I'll know when something doesn't. I'll be like, "What is that about?" I'll actually question, you know, stuff you're not supposed to do. Um, 20. Sorry, I like this chapter. It's a good chapter, but I like a lot of Matthew's chapters. I just like the book of Matthew too. Sorry. Um, 29. He said, come. So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water, and he came towards Jesus. 30. But when he perceived and felt the strong wind, he was frightened, and as he began to sink, he cried out, Lord, save me from death. 31. Instantly Jesus reached out his hand and caught and held him, saying to him, O you of little faith, why did you doubt? See, I don't know if I would have. I don't know, that wind. That it might have frightened me if I would have felt a strong wind. I'm sure I probably would have got a little frightened also. Last night there was an instant where I was like, I'm gonna have to go ask Jeff about that. And I heard, why are you always doubting me? And I was like, oh, damn. And it was an instant, and I was like, oh. So yeah, um, I can relate to Peter. 32. And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. And those in the boat knelt and worshipped him, saying, truly you are the Son of God. 34. And when they had crossed over to the other side, they went ashore at Gennesaret. 35. And when the men of that place recognized him, they sent around into all the surrounding country and brought to him all who were sick. 36, the last verse for this chapter. And begged him to let them merely touch the fringe of his garment, the fringe of his tassel, and as many as touched it were perfectly restored. love it. I love it. Alright, my brothers and sisters. Peace be with you. May God bless you. I love you guys.